All right, what's going on, guys? We're going to be going over just assisted squat, and this is like if someone's never squatted before, or if I see them and they just don't have a great feel for proper squat mechanics without holding on to something, we'll use something to assist them on the way down, just so they can feel the movement. So we're going to go over some basic squat technique from toe to all the way up the body, but also just show you how you can use something very simply to just learn how to do it. Whether you've got TRX straps, a pole, some sort of random handle, a partner even, but just something to grab onto. It could be like a railing at your home. It could be really anything. So I'm just going to show you, and just hold on to this. And obviously, the more you need to hold on, the least progress you are. But just to have something just to show you. And for one, I'm going to start off with the feet. So for proper squatting and deadlifting, and standard stance is usually just going to be a little bit outside the shoulders. A lot of people say for proper stance, just pick if you were to jump, then that's probably around where you should be. So I usually just tell people go a little bit wider. It's not that you always have to be at this width, but for standard, for starting off, let's just go a little bit outside the shoulders or just about shoulder width apart. At the feet, I want you to make sure you're screwing your feet outward a little bit. Now I'm slipping a little bit, but what I want you to have your eyes on is you actually want these three contact points, your heel and these outside knuckles of your feet into the ground. So basically I'm talking about the underfoot, and we want that arch. So we don't want you collapsing inwards. See, my knees come in, I lose my arch. So we actually want you staying out and your knees actually spread apart, as if I'm spreading the floor apart, and my knees don't come inward. So one of the biggest squat mistakes I see, if you're new to squatting, if you're new to lifting weights or anything like that, I see this all the time. I see this all the time. These are really rough on your knees. Your squat is gonna feel so much better if your toes are out a little bit and your knees stay out. And we're keeping this arch going. So I'm just gonna hold on right here. And what I wanna do is actually just follow my hips directly through. That's weird. Keeping an equal amount of weight on your heel and also the balls of your feet, not slide into any one side or anything like that. So not sitting back like this too much, but we want an equal footing from front to back on the foot. And what you're gonna see here is the knees and the hips are gonna bend, chin's gonna stay tucked and just coming straight down. And the knees again are out. I'm not seeing this happen. So down. What we wanna do is get to a depth of about upper thigh to about parallel to the floor. You can go a little bit under, but what we don't wanna see is as you get lower, we don't want the back to curl. So if you use a mirror and check that out, we want this back staying flat. And some people, when they go deeper, they run out of room at the hip, and it's not a muscular thing. You can't stretch that. They run out of bone. They run out of joint space in their bones. And once that's gone, you might see this happen. We do not want to be lifting weights in that position. We want the back to stay straight and then come back up. And I'm someone with not a lot of squat depth, and something that I can't fix by stretching muscles. It's not a muscle issue, it's a bone issue, and you can't stretch bone. So just dropping straight down. The knees, whether they come past the toes or not, isn't a big deal, but if you want a more glute dominant squat, you're gonna sit back a little bit more. If you want a little bit more of the quads, you can let the knees come forward a little bit more, but this is all kind of just down the road stuff. The main thing we want you working on is making sure you're sinking straight down, the shoulders come, and they're basically staying over the middle of your foot. If you had a bar on your back, you'd want that bar to stay in line with the middle of your foot. You're just coming down and back up. So that's an assisted squat, just a simple way to learn how to squat. From there, if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can kind of come to the bottom, let go, and then come up. But from there, usually once people get a little bit of a feel for it, you probably don't have to spend too long with this one. Then you can get onto a goblet squat or even a reaching plate squat or something like that and start adding load to it so you can get stronger, burn some fat, and add some muscle.